Howdy YouTube, my name's Ethanra, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So, we're going to continue the summer adventure. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not feeling 100% right now. Probably won't for a couple of weeks. But I've already started this, so I'm not going to let that stop me from finishing it. On an unrelated note, is anyone else as tired of the time challenge as I am? Because they did start off, I'm going to use the word fair here, because they actually at least felt that way. But now, in particular, I find this one especially daunting. The reason why these bother me so much in general, especially now that they want you to do all three of these, is it impossible? Of course not. Otherwise, they wouldn't give us the challenge. Is it much more difficult than it needs to be? Absolutely. You know before how I complained about when your pet steals something, when you have the thief ability on your pet, and they steal something from an enemy, and the animation was like, I don't remember how long it was actually, but just for the sake of conversation, let's just say it was about 3 seconds long. But because that could absolutely wreck your time challenges, they finally had the bright idea. And remember that theme of what I brought up being, I wonder why they didn't do this in the first place, is that they dropped that animation from 3 seconds to like 1.5. They need to do the exact same thing for when you come across the target enemy, because that thing has screwed me over so many times. It's mind-boggling, because I know it's not just me. A lot of people could have done these challenges a lot easier if you get, like, for example, it says 36 seconds. Get to the target, you do all their ridiculous requirements, especially this one right here. This one is arguably the most time-consuming. You do all of them. You get to the Heartless at like 27 seconds, something like that. There's that warning, this is the target, burp, 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 that warning that takes up so much time. Then you finally get to attack it. Then it dies. Then the timer stops. That takes up so much time. Like my last run was like 36.66 seconds or something insane like that, where I fail just within fractions of a second. It's so obnoxious. But sorry, just had to get that off my chest. That's not what's eating me though. Just is definitely not helping though either. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see. 3 wishes, okay? But yeah, seriously, start asking yourself that when it comes to those tiny little details. Why did they not do this in the first place? I'm telling you, man, it's that hat. Wow, man, he just let that ninja in the pink toad hat tell him off. That's kind of embarrassing. So let's see. Alright. Oh yes, I didn't mention this in the last video, but I did think it was pretty funny watching my avatar's face change depending on what's being said. Because in general, it looks like even though he's smiling, it doesn't look like he actually cares what's going on. So when he actually does emote, I think it's pretty funny. Again, I say that a lot. When I say something is pretty funny, I don't mean pretty funny as in I LOL laugh. I don't think any of you have actually heard me do that, not in a video anyway. But when I just say pretty funny, I mean it's funny enough to get a reaction out of me, which, again, doesn't happen all that often. Yeah, this is a perfect time to talk about that too. You see how fast that stealing animation was? If you go through some of my older videos, or just someone else you know who does the same thing, and you see just how long that animation used to be, and then apply that to those real-time specific missions. I'm just making sure he wasn't the target. Those real-time specific missions, and you'll see why it was such a big deal that they had to shorten that animation, because it would Now, if you want to talk about impossible, I would say that did make them borderline impossible. Because again, they were still possible, obviously, but it was just so unnecessarily tight where an animation, something you had no control over, could completely lock you out of finishing a quest. And since we're on that topic, I'll bring it up again once we actually find the target. No, there it is. Okay, now check this out. Imagine if we were timed. That's how long that takes. And then, still not done yet. There, that's when the timer would stop. That murders my time. I'm gonna get through it eventually. I just need to calm down first and think of a better strategy. Usually I start on the left-hand side and then curve around up to the target. And that has worked for me every single time, even though I have to do it more than once. So I'm gonna keep trying that until it works. But, oh man, it's just how long that animation is. It messes everything up. But okay, seriously, that's enough about that. We're moving on. I just felt that'd be the best time to talk about it since you could see that part for yourself. Something I do not like about Agrabah, though, is not necessarily the heat, but how I'm hesitant to call it a maze because it's not really a maze. You can see as far as you need to see. It's a barren wasteland, but it's maze-like in the sense that everything looks the same. Like, you have no idea. Oh, wow. Almost killed my frame rate. Anyway, you have no idea where exactly you are if you're not paying attention. Like, thankfully the boss was right here, but you know, there are some Agrabah missions that take you literally from, well, Agrabah all the way to the deepest, farthest part of the desert. Like, I can't remember what mission it is, but there is one that legitimately does that, and it is so much screen flipping from one scene to the next. All sand is so boring. So I'm really glad that was not the case. That's a fear they installed into me. Every time I go to Agrabah, I feel like I'm gonna have to travel through the entire desert just to get to where I need to go. And again, it's just sand. There's not even any entertaining backdrops. It's all just sand. It's so dull to look at. Oop. I do think this Heartless looks kind of cool, considering what he's supposed to be. You would think wearing that chest on his head, though, would be giving him the mother of all cricks in his neck, but apparently not. But what do I know? I've never been a Heartless. Oh, also, I don't know if the mic picked it up there, if you have to turn your volume up to hear it, but I do like how when you attack the Heartless, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, most of them have their own sound effect, and I do like how the Dark Balls actually have the exact same sound effect, the noise that they make when they get hit from Kingdom Hearts. So I thought that was a pretty nice touch, because they didn't have to do that. They could have just made it anything, just some generic sound, but they actually took the Dark Ball's unique sound effect when you hit them, stop snickering, and actually put it into the game. Yeah, even though I mentioned it earlier, obviously this is one of the rare exceptions where it's not all just sand, but it is the oasis we were looking for, so it makes sense. But yeah, outside of this, areas like this and around the Cave of Wonders, and there are actually scenes where you go through the desert for so long, it actually goes from morning to dusk to night, just sand. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're done with that, so let's see what the next cutscene has in store for us. Well, my avatar seems to think so, so I guess that's fine. Why would he bring that up? Well, I was gonna say, why would he bring that up when we're this far from Daybreak Town? We could have done that before we left, but whatever. And I need something to release this pent-up frustration on, so sure, I choose you, Darkseid. There you are. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Oh yes, this will be perfect. As I said, when I'm in one of these moods, I just feel like being a bit more savage than normal. That being said, oh, that's so fast. You didn't even see the mark. Nice. Alright, so with that thing out of the way, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you around.